Most art tries to say something. It tries to provoke, to critique, to last forever. But this man doesn't. Hajime Sorayama creates sexual, futuristic chrome robots that look like they must mean something. They're too detailed, too beautiful, too human not to. But when asked what it all means, he just smirked and said, "I draw what I like, according to my aesthetic, for myself. The way my work is interpreted depends on each individual." And in a world where every creator is taught to chase meaning, legacy, and impact, this man became one of the most recognized cyberpunk artists alive by not trying to say anything at all. This video isn't about pornography, it isn't about robots, it isn't about technology. It's about what it means to create when you stop trying to convince the world of anything at all. This is Hajime Sorayama, the illustrator who hates the word art so much that he calls himself an entertainer. And these fembots are how he entertains himself and the world. Sorayama wasn't born a visionary. He was born bored. Born in 1947 in a small rural Japanese town he once described as a place where culture dies, he wasn't a prodigy and barely drew as a child. He went to university for Greek literature of all things, before transferring to an art school and falling into commercial illustration. His first robot wasn't even his idea. It was a non-copyrighted version of C-3PO because Suntory Whiskey couldn't get the actual Star Wars license. But a year later, he created the chrome female gynoids that would define his career. Today, his work sits in the MoMA and the Smithsonian. He's collaborated with Puma and Sony, but none of this came from chasing trends or trying to be profound. He simply fell in love with surface, the way light reflects off metal. He didn't chase meaning, he chased fascination. Sorayama isn't trying to express ideology. He's obsessed with surface. His robots look hyper-real, not because he's trying to make a statement, but because he's technically obsessive. He airbrushes chrome like wet skin, reflections like glass, light bouncing off metal with more care than most painters give to human faces. He's not interested in space travel, the future, or some warning about AI. He's chasing the pleasure of the perfect surface, the way light hits a curve. Critics write essays about his work, how it's a metaphor for our technological desires, or a reflection of our machine-age desires. But Sorayama just laughs at all of that. He once said, "I've always been asked if my work is art or porn. To be honest, I make porn, but if you see art in it, that's fine too." He's proof that an artist doesn't need to dress their work in meaning. He doesn't label his creations as art, he creates what pleases and amuses him, and if others enjoy it too, that's a bonus. In a digital era where artists post everything online, Sorayama claims 80% of his work is banned from social media. I can only show you a few images of his here before YouTube might take it down, but that's fine with him. He's not fighting censorship or trying to shock people or prove his genius. He just loves drawing. He once said, "I create by playing in the freedom of my imagination. No matter what people say, creating is my freedom, my enjoyment, my energy." In interviews, he wears a t-shirt and jeans, cracks dirty jokes, and laughs as reporters trip over the chaos of his studio. He's edgy, but only for fun. You can see it in photos of his studio, a cramped apartment in Tokyo that's exploded into color and chrome. His fembots stand beside mounds of old Disney toys spilling off shelves, anatomical diagrams hang from fishing rods like drying laundry. It's chaotic, bizarre, and deeply human. Sorayama grins at it all and says, "I tend to collect things I haven't seen before. I find many things erotic." It doesn't look like a temple of art. It looks like a playground. And that's what makes him uncomfortable. Not because of what he says, but because of what he refuses to say. Most of us create not out of joy, but out of fear. Fear of being ignored, fear of being ordinary, fear that if no one claps, maybe our art wasn't worth it. We want our art to prove something about us. Sorayama doesn't participate in that game. He draws because he wants to draw. That's it. It's not that he doesn't care, it's that he's free. He's not numb to the world, he's unchained from needing it. And that's frightening. Because for him, the work exists even if no one applauds. The joy is in the act, not the result. And that's something our modern creator culture doesn't know how to process. If you want the cleanest window into who he really is, there's one quote. When asked what advice he'd give young artists, he laughed and said, "Don't even bother. It's no easy task making a living as an artist. The people you see thriving got there by miraculous chance. Talent is made by whether you can continue something until you die. If you like something, you'll keep doing it no matter what they do to you. That's why I tell people to quit as early as possible, because people who really want to do it won't." He's not mocking artists, he's exposing the delusion. He isn't saying to give up on creating, he's saying to give up on the validation creation may bring, because you won't survive if that's your fuel. And that hits even harder today when we chase virality in 6-second clips, when meaning is manufactured for engagement, when being a creator is a lifestyle brand. Sorayama looks at all of that and laughs, because the ones who actually make it aren't trying to be artists. They're too busy making. He once said, "People who do what they enjoy will survive, and their work will live on for hundreds of years. But people who pander to the world, they live in bubbles." And that's the truth that burns a little. Because if you can be discouraged out of making art, maybe you were never an artist in the first place. Do we really create just to create? Most of us don't. We make things because we want to be seen. We want numbers. We want proof. And I'm not judging anyone for that, because I've done that too. When I first started this channel, I chased what worked. I chased quick hacks for the algorithm. I grinded night after night hoping for a big break. One of these videos had to be the one that justified it all. And every time something didn't perform, it felt like I failed, not the video. My work was improving. I was learning. But I never let myself enjoy the process. Sorayama doesn't participate in that psychological transaction. He doesn't make work to change the world. He makes work because he likes making work. And if the world likes it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. When I finally realized that meaning is optional, that legacy is optional, that message is optional, it stripped away all of my excuses. I couldn't hide behind the algorithm just doesn't get me, or I'm just not consistent enough yet. The truth is simpler and more terrifying. You either love the act of doing this, or you don't. Sorayama forces that question back onto us, not with ideology, but with indifference. And maybe that's the most radical part of him. Not the chrome, not the sex, not the taboos, but that he makes art as if reaction is irrelevant. He creates not to become someone, but because he already is. Sorayama reminds us that art doesn't have to be justified to anyone. Not your audience, not critics, not even yourself. He's proof that you can let go of the pressure to be meaningful or profound or culturally important. He just follows fascination, chrome, light, surface, and lets that be enough. Maybe that's the invitation here, to create without needing it to count, to play again, the way you did before you ever knew what views were, to follow whatever weird idea shows up, even if nobody understands it yet. Sorayama isn't working, he's playing. And maybe that's what real artists end up doing when they finally surrender the fantasy and just follow the thing they love. Because the world doesn't need another important artist. It needs people who are alive while they're creating. Sorayama shows us the beauty of creating with no message, just instinct, obsession, and joy. But there's another Japanese creator who shows us the opposite side of that same truth, that sometimes meaning finds you anyway, even in the quietest corners of the world. That's what this photographer who captures the lonely vending machines and snowstorms discovered, and to hear more about that, you could check out this video right here.